At least 5 police officers, many more perhaps, were killed and several civilians as well. Police stations were burnt down. Public buses were also torched. It didn't spring from nowhere, and we'll explore the source of the anger and the violence in a moment with President Julius Maada Bio. But I asked him first what the situation was like at the moment.
Well, first, I would definitely want to express my condolences to the families of those who have died in this unfortunate incident. It is calm and quiet now. It's been like this since yesterday evening. The security forces are fully deployed to make sure that there is no further deterioration in the situation. There are arrangements in place now to make sure that we improve on that situation. It is calm and quiet as I speak.
What are they saying, the security experts and the ministers in charge of the situation, about the underlying and overt causes of the violence?
Well, it could be political. And I think that is the thought at the moment. They have been putting pressure to come out and protest. Of course, what happened yesterday was definitely not a protest. It was terrorism at the highest. We have a few Sierra Leoneans who live in the diaspora who have threatened to unleash terror on Sierra Leone on several occasions. They will incite unemployed youth on this part in the country. And on several occasions, we've had these episodic eruptions of violence. And the other time it was in Lonsa, another town, and another time it was in Makeni, Tombo, and we've lost lives in most of these instances.
You say unemployed youth, which actually is an indication, isn't it, that people actually do have genuine reasons for anger, for feeling that they're not being heard and that their lives are becoming more and more difficult. So pointing to agitators seems to be denying that reality of Sierra Leonean youth and Sierra Leonean people in general.
Definitely. There's hardship. We have unemployment. But most of the youths are unemployed. We do sympathize with their situation, and as a government we have done quite a lot to address that situation. The free quality education, which involves technical education at all district levels, is all meant to empower them to be able to employ themselves or to make them employable. We are doing quite a lot to empower them in that direction. We've made access to education free so that everybody is empowered. And it's also about inclusivity, making sure that every Sierra Leonean, any child born in Sierra Leone today, can have access to education. So that is going on at the moment. These are very expensive undertakings at a point when we know that the global economy is going through difficulties. But we have made that effort just to make sure that we equip our young people, place them in a position where they'll be able to gain employment.
But that is a very long-term strategic vision. The education of young people is a long-term strategic vision to turn things around. But right now, there's a massive cost of living crisis. And I grant you, of course, that's global in scope. But the joblessness, the youth unemployment, the overhang of COVID, all those are issues that confront people right now. They're hungry right now. What is your solution to that? They want government to solve those problems.
But definitely these are genuine concerns, and that is the responsibility of government. What we have done is, since the onset of COVID itself, was to make sure that we try to cushion the effect of these trends on the people of Sierra Leone. We have waived virtually every tax on the essential commodities, making sure that they have been available all throughout, even with the price of fuel. We have adjusted only when it is necessary, and we have gone up when the prices on the world market have gone up, and we have immediately reduced those prices in the past 2 weeks twice, just to make sure that we reduce the impact on people. So we have done quite a lot to make sure that we cushion the effect of what is happening around the world. We are not using that as an excuse. Even with COVID, what we did was we custom made our own interventions to the extent that we are completely different from what was happening around the world.
My name is Dr. Delodson Moinina Kalon. And I just want to take a minute to address the recent spate of violence we're seeing in our country. Now, my comments are not meant to be political. I'm not a politician. I'm just a simple scientist. But my comments, I want to direct them to my fellow diasporans. I'm coming to you from London, UK, and I want to speak to other diasporans, maybe here in the UK, continental Europe, America, wherever you happen to be. And my message is simply this: if you are out here in a diaspora and you are encouraging youngsters to go out there on the streets in violent protest, then with the greatest of respect, I think you're being disingenuous. You know as well as I do that the current cost of living crisis is something that's being experienced everywhere in the world. It's no different here in the UK. We have people begging the government for help so that they don't have to choose between heating their homes this winter or putting food on the table. So if you're encouraging the youth to go out and protest violently, and you know it would be violent, let's not kid ourselves, you know exactly what the outcome would be, then I put it to you with the greatest of respect that you are being disingenuous and you are not helping our country. What you and I should be doing, if we're out here in the diaspora, is looking for ways to attract investors to our country. You know as well as I do that it's not governments that build economies, it's people, it's investors, it's people like you and I going out there, speaking to our contacts, encouraging them to come and invest in our country to create the jobs that will employ the youth and help alleviate the situation that they find themselves in. I'm just a simple scientist. I go where the evidence takes me, and the evidence is clear. Only stable countries can create jobs for youth. Only stable countries can build the schools, the hospitals, the roads, the infrastructure that we need. Only stable countries can have the agricultural output to feed their people. This level of instability that we are encouraging, it only sets us back. Let's not allow the challenges of today to sort of sell out our future, please. Okay, this is Dr. Kalon, thanking you for sharing.
And me no say, na bad politician and they divide the country. And me no say, me not one of them.
MashaAllah.
Fulaman, the Sosoman, Libaman, Konoman, Tebniman, we all are Sierra Leoneans. Of course, we're not being way that Sunday. But this time back, that's the way, na Fulaman are the thing. They say Fulaman, they're the politician. I say, well, they make them politician.
Thank you.
So, and I want for tell I say, I enjoy for work with them. They do plenty work. Not to them first thing, Vice President to where we they push in a corner, we go, we pull all the power in their hand, we know they move around. No. And they get plenty work, they do them. We are not they so now they in charge, then they do everything, we make sure say we talk every day, we could send if any problem they now so we the developed nation, one person in the developed nation, one tribe in the developed nation. So I'm really happy we will make them for Canada and we will keep the country together and we need to contribution there. You always can and you always the help. Because waiting they give we fear as leaders for continue for do what they do. Now this kind of encouragement. That platform I don't give me so. That they pass billions.
Yeah.
That they tell me say if I'm in the work, I they go work and smack now. Because I know say people then they were not they near me say, but then they know say I they do good job and they don't appreciate and acknowledge them for do more so that society will develop. So they tell me plenty. Thank you.